So we got to go into conversation with Gary Musgrave, but I would love to introduce you to his absolutely stunning and incredible wife, Alla Bartoshchuk, who is an incredible mother and spouse, but also an epic artist in her own regard. In fact, you can see behind her that incredible self-portrait that you can really see featuring all of the, well, I don't know, brush strokes and so much thing, because I love your art because it's kind of geometric, and so there's like lots of movement and waves, but you also have like the cranes that are flying, so you've got things that are a little bit more angular. But
Right.
before we jump into all of that, I want to get to know you a little bit better. So talk to me about you and your background. Talk to me about,
Right.
you know, did you have a nickname as a kid?
Oh yeah, well, where do I start?
Wherever you want.
Well, okay.
Ladies' choice.
Well, I am Ukrainian. I was born and raised in Ukraine and came here as a teenager after graduating high school. So my whole childhood, my whole formative years started in Ukraine. And I do have a childhood nickname given to me by my cousin.
Oh, okay. Which is?
Alushta. Alushta.
Alushta, like, is it based off of
Yeah.
Alla or?
Well, it sounds like Alla,
A little bit.
but it's actually a town in Crimea, completely unrelated to me. But my cousin was like, well, it sounds like Alla, so I'll just call you Alushta. So then I have variations, Alushta, Alushtik, but my whole family is calling me Alushta.
I love it.
It's very unusual. Well, it was unusual for me to hear Alla when I moved here because nobody knew my nickname.
Got it.
Yeah.
So Alushta.
Alushta, yeah, thank you.
I love that. Talk to me about what it was like for you growing up as a kid. What was that background? And you can take me to any part of your childhood you want.
Well, you know, I will just say that it was quite magical. Maybe like to bring me back to my work because there's a little bit more of surrealism, magical whimsy there. I grew up in a very small town and like in a, not wilderness, but it was on the outskirts of the city. So there were woods and like nature, and I just grew up playing with my friends, doing imaginary games, whatever kids do, you know, but it was very unsupervised, let's just say.
But I think that, and that really probably, as you said, it kind of added to your magical, ethereal kind of thought process maybe in the art world?
I think so, yes.
As you progress through childhood into teens and adulthood, when did the art bug, I guess, bite you? Was it early on?
Very much so. Well, it never stopped. There is a period with kids when they stop making art. Well, for me, it just transitioned into more formal education.
Got it.
So the way education works in Ukraine, you would have your regular school where you do your academics. And all your liberal arts and your science, but there's not much art or sports or anything extracurricular.
Understood. So it's a very different world than most people in the U.S. understand. Got it.
So then if you wanted to pursue something that's a little bit more specific, like art, for instance, you would have to enroll into a separate school, like a vocational school in the evenings after you do your regular school. So I started doing that when I was 12 years old because I just had this passion and an aptitude for visual arts. So then my parents were like, okay, you can pick either you go and study music or you study painting and drawing. So then I picked visual arts to music.
Now,
it was cheaper too.
No, I was going to say, so, because that seems such a specialized thing, and we're used to schools here in the U.S. where it can be a pretty penny. So again, you were thinking from that, you know, what was your passion, but a cost-effective thing on the backside as well with the family.
Absolutely.
How did you find yourself in the U.S.? I know I'm going to bring us way forward, but how did you end up coming to the U.S.?
Exchange student program.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, so there was an opportunity for me to participate in this program after high school, and I landed in Texas, Texarkana, through that program and spent a year there. So it was a very interesting experience.
Well, was it a culture shock? Because that's very, like, even different from here.
Yeah.
Very, very different.
It would have been a cultural shock if I were to come here, for sure. But Texas is like a different world
That's a different beast. I mean, it's truly almost its own country.
And also, you know, you have the stereotype about America as any foreigner. Like, you watch TV and everything is like Hollywood movies and palm trees. So my stereotype at that age, 17, very young, it's like, okay, I'll come to America and there's going to be like high school parties, palm trees. I mean, it's a very silly stereotype, but it's real.
Right. Okay.
So then I come to Texas and it's very much not like it. It was a very wonderful experience for its own sake, but it was just a very different experience from what I anticipated. Mm-hmm. And then when I was in Texas, I pursued my art practice further.
Okay.
Took art classes in high school, and they had a really good art program. So I did a bunch of art through that program, applied to go to college here, got a full ride. And I mean, it's...
And where did you go to college?
Memphis College of Art, so Tennessee.
So but it's still continuing with the art thread.
Yes, exactly.
Got it.
So it was an opportunity for somebody who's like from a very tiny town in Ukraine to get a full ride and to be able to attend college here was a big deal for me and my family. So we're
that's a big deal for anybody,
sure,
truly.
Yeah.
But that's amazing. So now you're here in Southern California.
Yeah.
And you are an epic artist with so many things to offer, but you're also a mother and a teacher and a wife.
Yes.
You have all the things going.
Yes.
What is it like having all that? And is art an outlet for you a little bit so that you can kind of really put your maybe emotions on the canvas or something to that effect?
I feel like you're my therapist right now. You know.
A little bit.
No. Yes, very much so. I mean, I'm a young mother in the sense that my toddler is 15 months old, so it's a very new experience.
Absolutely adorable and love him to death. He's been so much fun to play with.
Thank you. So it's a very new experience for both of us. And we did have some training wheels in a sense that my mom came to the United States.
So that family element is really helpful.
Yes, very much so. So we had a lot of help. And, so we transitioned into the parenthood with like cushions behind us.
No, sure.
It's wonderful. Yes, it's a lot to juggle, but having that time to paint and continue my art practice is really important to me. But it's also, as you said, an outlet where I can still be me and really gather my thoughts and get into the zone. And as an artist, it's really important to have that moment where it's just you as a person dissolving into this other space of creating. When he goes to nap.
Yes, that's what I was going to say, because I know so many people find it challenging to carve out that time, and I'm so pleased that you are. But if there's any hints or little anecdotal things, would be lovely to help.
I had a conversation about this with the other artist.
Okay.
Who actually she was one of the people who inspired me to be an artist, to be a mom and an artist as well. She raised two boys. Sally Strand. She's a very known artist, and she was telling me the other day that when I became a mother, I became more productive, and I was like, yes, you're right. Me too. It's because you are so much on the schedule. Like there's no room to mess up or to sit down on the couch and watch TV. There's no such thing anymore. You just live by that schedule. Like an hour to hour is written down. Not literally, but in your head,
I mean, you're planning out, and like you said, in your head or in the world of technology, you have calendars going and all that stuff. So I understand.
And it's so important to me. Actually, one thing that I was worried about before becoming a mother, when I was pregnant, that I would abandon this because my kid would be so important to me.
Right.
And it's still the case, but I have this intense desire to make more work. For one thing, I have this new enriching experience of being a mother that I want to talk about through my art. And then it's also who I am. I've did this all my life without a stop, so I can't see myself abandoning my practice or putting it on the pause.
Amazing. And I think that's a big part, that you've been able to find a way to balance it hugely. Walk me through some of your pieces a little bit, just kind of inspiration wise, because it's so different. And like I said, and kind of open things up with, I love the brushstrokes and everything with it. It is a great outlet, as we talked about for you. But is there something with the cranes that's an inspiration for you?
It started with a symbolism, and I'll talk about it in a moment, but then it just turned into a motif that I needed to explore. There's some formal aspects of painting the crane that's so geometric. That's really exciting because you can study light, shadow, the relationship between the two, then the edge quality, how, you're creating a sense of depth with edges. And I get really excited about edges when I'm painting.
I think it's great,
very,
though. But it makes sense because if you look at it, and I don't know if you can pan in on it a little bit, but it's so specific because it's so smooth and such a soft lighting. And then you've got that very angular edge part of it. So that balance of, softness and a little bit more maybe severity is really impressive.
And it's like a little trick too that you can do where the edge will bring your eye to the painting a little bit more, creating a focal point. Softer edge, receives into the background a little bit more, then it creates the softness of light. It's all those things that they're kind of like these devices that will help you to create a story with a visual image.
Which I think is great. And one more thing I want to ask, because even going back, so my little minimal amount of knowledge of art, is that you also use certain colors to draw the eye in. And I know for your self-portrait, you have red as the crane,
Right.
Which I mean, kind of Ukraine. I don't know if there's a notion there.
Well,
but I also love
it, but no, but yes.
But the red is by your heart in your self-portrait. And I think that for me, having that little bit of knowledge in the background from the masters, as we know, for art, they always use red to draw into the most important part. And I think that kind of draws to your heart, which speaks a lot.
It is a primal color too. It's something that speaks a strong emotion, whether it's positive or negative, right? I mean, in this case, you can get from the story that it's a positive emotion, but there is a symbolism in color. So yes, you're picking up on.
See, I've got it. So tell us where we can learn more about you online or anything to that effect, so we can get a little bit of a deeper dive into Alla.
Well, I do have a website with my work. I need to update it with some of the recent paintings that I've completed.
That's good.
But
you'll get there now.
Website is alladreamsart.com. So you'll get to read my artist statement, my bio, my CV, whatnot. You can look through the portfolio of artworks that I've completed in the past 2 decades.
See, that's amazing.
So selected works, like I don't.
But that's okay. No. But it's nice to be able to see where you started and where you're at now. So I think it's a great arc.
And of course, Instagram. Everybody is on Instagram.
Right.
My handle is Alla Barto. I shortened that Chuk part.
Yeah, that's okay though. I love it. It's so musical anyway. So I mean, I like it, but I understand shortening it. So 100%.
So yeah, that's where you can find my work. And I try to be regular with Instagram. I'm not one of the Instagram stars who's like posts every day.
But I feel you.
But I try to make myself known.
I love it.
Time after time.
So on that note, Instagram is also the easiest place to learn more about the Festival of Arts and Pageant of the Masters here in Laguna Beach, California. Nick Pagliocchini, or This Weekend with Nick. You can also visit the website, thisweekendwithnick.com, or you can check out this and so much more on YouTube in conversation with Nick. I look forward to taking you along with us on many more adventures. Alla, this has been a true pleasure. Thank you so much.
Nice meeting you, and thank you for a wonderful conversation.
Absolutely. Thank you.